Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and today we're taking a look at the first in a series of 4 new statues coming to you from Diamond Select. And I call it a series of 4 even though it wasn't announced that way because it's pretty obvious if you're getting one, they're going to come out with all the rest. Today we're taking a look at Diamond Select's PVC figure diorama statues of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and today we are starting this off with the leader, Leonardo. When I found out that Diamond Select got the license to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, I was freaking out. I was not sure what they were going to do, but I knew one thing was going to be for sure, and that's that they were going to be making really awesome statues. But of course, the big question was then going to be, how are they going to do the statues? Were they going to be like Pop Culture Shock did, where they did them in the style of the cartoons? Were they going to be like how Iron Studios has done something in their own kind of weird Iron Studios style? You know, I didn't really know what to expect, and that was really great because once I actually saw what they were doing, well, I was all on board. And in case you're wondering, at least in my opinion of what Diamond Select is doing, is they're kind of just pulling pieces from all the different parts of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles canon, all the different parts of their lore, and kind of making almost like a best of both worlds version of all the TMNT characters. They're very unique and also very iconic, so this is a pretty cool looking line so far, and I can't wait to see how this continues. But for today, we're looking at Leonardo here, so let's get into things. And first things first, I want to talk about this packaging here, which normally I will kind of gloss over, and I'll do that again here just for the sake of time, but I do like some of the really cool details they put into this box. Now, of course, like all Diamond Select PVC statues, you've got a window on the left, a window on the right, a window in the center, and as always, that handy-dandy Diamond Select sunroof. But what's really kind of cool is when you turn it across these 3 sides that are on the front, left, and right, you're actually getting different parts of those TMNT universes that I mentioned earlier. So for example, on the front we have like a modern comic book style of the Turtles on one side, and then on the opposite side there's something that's very reminiscent of the cartoon Turtles. But which era of cartoon Turtles? Well, that's for you to decide, because especially when you turn it again, you've got even more eras of the Turtles, because here we have something that looks like maybe more of like the IDW run, and then on top of that, you've got something that is clearly the cartoon Turtles. So again, it really kind of proves that there's a whole lot of parts of the TMNT universe to pull from, and that's going to make for some very cool statues. The back of the box is pretty simple, very stark black and white with an image of the turtle statue and a little paragraph about who the character is, which is Leonardo. It's short, it's sweet, and it kind of teases who's next in this line, which is going to be Raphael. But most importantly, this lets us know who made this, and this piece was designed by David Forrest from Kinetic Underground Inc. and sculpted by Sandro Luis Sampaio. Apologies because I don't know how to say your name correctly, so I'm just going to say it a bunch of ways and hopefully one of them is correct. But that's our look at the box. Let's go ahead now and get our hero and a half shell out of this packaging and take a closer look at Leonardo from all angles. And here is the leader of our turtles, Leonardo, out of the box. Not entirely knowing what to expect with this line, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here, and I think you're gonna be too. Head to toe, this turtle is looking ready for combat, and there are a lot of positives with very few, if any, cons. Let's start with the face for a second, which is a perfect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle face. It reminds me of the original comics while also taking a page from more modern approaches to this franchise. His expression is one that's poised for battle, fierce and dominating. Leo is the leader for a reason, and this likeness says it all. What's also fun about this head sculpt is that it harkens back to the original Playmates action figure, sharing a similar grimace, although not completely identical, to the very first action figure that was made of this character. That's a nice subtle throwback that shows the history of these characters in plastic, and a great nod to an enduring franchise. Leonardo's pose is very ninja looking, and when I say that, I mean it's both stealthy and deadly. He might be leaping into a fight, but you know the person he hits will be done before Leo's feet even touch the ground. There's a lot of strength in his pose, and not only in the muscular shape of his body, but looking at how his weight is distributed in the piece. His back leg is about to spring into action, his arms and shoulders are pointed behind him to maximize speed and efficiency, and his right leg is positioned to brace for impact the moment he lands. With all that into consideration, it speaks volumes to the aforementioned muscles on this turtle, which look just as powerful as this pose. Detail is king with this PVC statue, as is texture. Leonardo has these very cool ninja gauntlets on his wrists that make him look very tactical, while also having the classic TMNT belt and sash, along with his knee pads and ankle wraps. His belt is filled with pouches hiding ninja gear, and once again, just like those original Playmates action figures, This turtle has the first letter of his name on his belt buckle. But beyond those, what we can essentially call accessories, Leo's skin, his shell, his carapace, whatever we're going to call it, all the harder parts and the softer parts of his body also have a great texture to them. It's not just a flat flesh like you would have seen with most human statues that Diamond does, because those really rarely have pores. But this turtle here has a lot of sort of crackly skin texture as well, and you can really differentiate it from the shell on his back, which has a lot of bumps and things and all sorts of dents and nicks, along with what is on his chest and down to his stomach. And to be clear, yes, those parts are little bit more smooth, let's say, but they also have a lot of raised textures to form the back of the shell, and likewise to form his front as well. You can really feel it a lot differently than the skin, which really does also reflect light differently too, so it's very nice and really well thought out. Leonardo's base is a New York City rooftop, littered with some rather small looking wooden crates. I mean, really, look at how tiny they are compared to the rest of this piece, but whatever, we'll move on from that. As well as some other interesting debris near his back foot. There's a hunk of wood, a big metallic pizza sign that looks just like the typical Manhattan pizzerias, minus the curly mustache, and the leg of a Mouser robot. What happened to the rest of that robot? Well, you can figure that on your own. And you can make your own conclusions about what's going on in the story of this piece too, because the artist left behind plenty of clues to put that tale together. I also like the colors of this base here, with the red in the bricks perfectly complementing the green of the turtle's skin, the brown tones seen throughout the piece and Leo's padding and the wood in the base tying it all together. It's really, really interesting to look at, even though it might look fairly plain considering it's just a building. But really, it's those little details that count, and I would expect nothing less from the team behind this statue. Leo has his twin katanas as his weapon of choice, and both are drawn and ready to strike. There's wonderful detail in the handles, and I love the metallic look of the blades. I also like how proportionate they seem for him, and I dig the scabbards on his back too. Seeing all these bits together remind me of a Frank Miller comic book panel from the 80s, probably straight out of Daredevil, which is ultimately what inspired Eastman and Laird to create the Turtles in the first place. There's no doubt in my mind that that homage was intentional, so kudos to the creative team for making that artistic decision. If this is the first of 4 Turtles, I can already tell you that my expectations were set high after taking a look at this debut piece. There's just so much detail to this and great storytelling with the pose, face, and even the props that are part of the base. It's action-packed, true to the character, and a brilliant start to Diamond's TMNT series of statues. And by the way, another cool thing about these pieces is how they actually connect together. And spoiler alert, here is the next statue in the series, Raphael, connecting side by side to this Leonardo. I'm very excited at the prospect of seeing all 4 turtles together, so just think about that and think about how huge this display is going to look once it's completed. Speaking of, if you want to pick up this statue for yourself or any others from this line, check out our affiliate links in the description below. If you pick up this statue using any of those links or any other items, it helps this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave a comment to let me know what you think about this Leonardo statue and whether you want to add it to your collection or not. So that's our look at Diamond Select's TMNT Leonardo PVC figure diorama statue, the first of 4 to complete the set. I'm Matthew, this has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cowabunga!